Welcome to our channel, Facts Intrigue. In the shadowy recesses of government facilities and clandestine labs, a secret operation emerged, seeking dominion not over territories or treasures, but over the very fabric of human consciousness. Welcome to MKUltra, the dark pursuit of mind control. Before we delve deep, we kindly request you to hit the subscribe button. Your engagement propels our mission forward, ensuring that history remains both remembered and unaltered. MKUltra program is widely believed to have influenced the backstory of the television series Stranger Things. The show, created by the Duffer Brothers, is steeped in 1980s nostalgia and pop culture but also integrates darker themes rooted in real-life events. One of the central characters, Eleven, undergoes experiments in a secretive government lab, and these experiments bear a resemblance to those reported from the MKUltra program. In Stranger Things, the experiments focus on harnessing psychic abilities for espionage purposes, particularly against Cold War adversaries. Similarly, MKUltra involved researching mind control and chemical interrogation methods during the Cold War, albeit for different ends. While the events and supernatural elements of Stranger Things are fictional and dramatized, the dark undertones of government experimentation on unknowing individuals have genuine historical roots in the MKUltra program. The show takes inspiration from various sources, and MKUltra is definitely among the most significant influences. How did MKUltra begin? Well, let's go back to the 1950s. The 1950s was a decade marked by rock and roll, the space race, and the simmering tension of the Cold War. But beneath the era's facade of normalcy, a more sinister pursuit was underway. Its name? MKUltra, a covert CIA project whose chilling undertakings would remain one of America's most disturbing secrets and the foundation of the ultimate fear. As the Korean War raged, rumors reached American soil. Stories of U.S. POWs denouncing their country were seemingly brainwashed by their captors. The CIA, consumed by the terror of communist indoctrination, embarked on a quest. Their mission? Harness the power of the mind. The birth of the project. Sidney Gottlieb, a chemist, was handed the reins of what would become MKUltra. The task? Explore mind control, chemical interrogation, even resurrection of the dead. With an annual budget adjusted to roughly $10 million today, no method was too radical, no avenue too bizarre to explore. And explore they did. The experiments. Across North America, institutions became clandestine testing grounds. LSD was a favorite, its hallucinogenic properties key to breaking and reshaping the psyche. Why LSD? LSD, which stands for lysergic acid diethylamide, is a potent psychedelic drug that affects the mind in multiple ways. While its effects can vary depending on the individual, the dosage, the environment, and other factors. What did LSD do to the mind during the time of its initial discovery and experimentation? Which includes the era of MKUltra. Altered perception. One of the primary effects of LSD is a significant alteration in perception. Users often report intensified colors, morphing shapes, and auditory hallucinations. Euphoria or dysphoria. Many users experience a profound sense of euphoria, interconnectedness, and well-being. However, others might experience intense anxiety, paranoia, or what they refer to as a bad trip. Dissolution of ego. Users often report a diminished sense of self or ego, leading to feelings of oneness with the world or the dissolution of boundaries between the self and the environment. Altered sense of time. Time may seem to speed up, slow down, or lose meaning altogether for someone under the influence of LSD. Hallucinations. While LSD is not as powerfully hallucinogenic as some other drugs, users can experience visual and auditory hallucinations, often described as distortions rather than entirely fabricated experiences. Spiritual experiences. Some users report profound spiritual or mystical experiences, leading to long-term changes in their beliefs or life outlook. Flashbacks. Some users experience flashbacks or spontaneous recurrences of an LSD trip, often without warning, long after taking the drug. Potential for therapeutic uses. In the mid-20th century, LSD was researched for potential therapeutic applications, especially in psychotherapy. Some therapists believed it could help patients access repressed memories or thoughts. During the time of MK Ultra and similar experiments in the 1950s and 1960s, the CIA and other entities were interested in LSD's potential as a mind control agent or truth serum. However, the drug's unpredictable effects made it unreliable for such purposes. In recent years, there's been a resurgence of interest in the potential therapeutic benefits of LSD, particularly for conditions like depression, anxiety, PTSD, and addiction, leading to new waves of clinical research. The cruel and sad thing about the MK Ultra project is their test subjects were unwitting subjects. Children, students, servicemen, even the general public were dosed, their reactions meticulously chronicled. Against their knowledge and at some point, their will. Unfortunately, by that time the damage had been done to them. Darker depths. But some experiments went beyond drugs. At Canada's Allen Memorial Institute, Dr. Ewan Cameron sought to depattern patients, erasing their personalities and memories. Sleep, drugs, electroshocks, days on end. The results? Minds forever fractured, lives irrevocably altered. Over time, the unraveling of secrets. The 1970s saw the facade crack. Journalists unearthed stories, survivors spoke out, and a nation watched in horror as the truth emerged. A senator asked in a Senate hearing, "How deep does this go? How much did we not know?" In the hearing it was said that perhaps most disturbing of all was the fact that the extent of experimentation on human subjects was unknown. The records of all these activities were destroyed in January 1973, at the instruction of then CIA Director Richard Helms. In spite of persistent inquiries by both the Health Subcommittee and the Intelligence Committee, no additional records or information were forthcoming. And no single individual could be found who remembered the details, not the director of the CIA, who ordered the documents destroyed, not the official responsible for the program, nor any of his associates. Aftermath and legacy. The destroying of the MK Ultra documents buried the true extent of its horrors. Yet its legacy endures. A stark reminder of the perils of unchecked power. It's deeply disturbing to realize that, in the end, 86 universities or institutions played a role. Further revelations of unscrupulous actions came to light. We can only speculate about the actual number of individuals who endured harm from these malevolent perpetrators. Before we continue with the rest of the story, we'd like to pause for a moment to share something deeply personal with our viewers. While we are passionate about bringing historical facts to our YouTube audience, this journey is not without its challenges. Delving into the annals of history, we often confront the darker sides of humanity. It is heart-wrenching for our team at Facts Intrigue to uncover the inhumane treatment of individuals throughout history. During our research, we encounter imagery so harrowing that, while other channels might utilize them for their shock value, we choose not to, guided by our principles. This decision might mean that we don't garner as many subscribers as those who embrace sensationalism. However, we earnestly hope our viewers will support us, not for sensational content, but for our commitment to presenting history responsibly. By remembering and learning from history's tragedies, we aspire to prevent their repetition. We invite you to join us in this mission, cherishing the lessons of the past to build a more compassionate future. We thank you for watching our videos and hope you will subscribe so that we can continue to share the world's history one video at a time. As we continue, MK Ultra, more than just a project. It stands as a dark testament to humanity's pursuit of control, the depths we can sink to, and the resilience of the human spirit. The Senate hearing uncovered the fact that the agency, CIA, itself acknowledged that the tests made on their subjects provided little scientific sense. Not only that, but the agents also assigned to conducting the monitoring were not even qualified scientific observers. In addition, the test's subjects were seldom accessible beyond the first hours of the test. In a number of instances, the test subject became ill for hours or days, and effective follow-up was impossible. Other experiments were equally offensive. For example, heroin addicts were enticed into participating in LSD experiments in order to get a reward heroin. The agency, amidst the rising controversies surrounding MKUltra, conceded to at least one death directly linked to their myriad experiments during this shadowy era. Given the scope of the program and the severity of the procedures, some of which included high-dosage LSD administrations, electroshocks, and other extreme psychological treatments, it's challenging to accept that only a single fatality occurred. Historically, the full extent of MKUltra's repercussions remains shrouded in secrecy, with many records destroyed and testimonies silenced. Thus, the true human cost may never be fully known. Which we know now is exactly why the records were destroyed. Whatever happened to the victims of their experiments? The fate of many MKUltra test subjects remains shrouded in mystery due to the secretive nature of the program and the subsequent destruction of many documents related to it. But there has been some general information and accounts are available. With the document destruction in 1973, then CIA Director Richard Helm's order of all MKUltra files, making it extremely challenging to get a complete understanding of the aftermath for all the subjects. Only a limited number of financial records and some other documents which were mistakenly spared from destruction provide insights into the program. Some survivors came forward, particularly after the program was exposed in the 1970s. They described enduring long-term psychological trauma, including amnesia, depression, and other mental health disorders. Some struggled to lead normal lives because of the severe and lasting effects of the experiments. Lawsuits and compensation. There have been various lawsuits filed against the U.S. government and related entities by survivors or their families. In the 1980s, several victims were compensated after legal battles, though the government often did not admit legal liability. For instance, 9 Canadian victims received compensation from the U.S. government in the 1980s. Institutionalized victims. Dr. Ewan Cameron's psychic driving experiments, conducted at the Allen Memorial Institute in Montreal, are particularly infamous. Some patients, who went in for minor issues like anxiety or postpartum depression, emerged with erased memories, inability to recognize family members, or in a state of chronic infantilism. Some of these individuals likely spent extended periods in psychiatric institutions or required long-term care. Unknown fates. Given the covert nature of many experiments, especially those involving unsuspecting subjects, the ultimate fate of many participants remains unknown. Some may have returned to their regular lives without ever knowing they were part of such a program, while others might have experienced long-term consequences without understanding their cause. It's important to note that the MKUltra program spanned over a decade, with experiments conducted at various institutions using a wide range of methods. As a result, outcomes for the subjects would likely have varied significantly based on the nature and duration of their involvement. MKUltra, an endeavor to control the most intimate realms of the human mind. A project that reminds us that some boundaries, once crossed, leave scars that last generations. We thank you for being with us today. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave us a comment below about what you thought of this event and history.